we have the current stock market update for Intel Corporation, stock ticker INTC. Before we begin with today's chart analysis, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts below in the comment section so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So with this chart analysis, what we're going to be doing is looking at the 15-minute price chart. Here we will be identifying some important price levels, some critical support and resistance levels that can hopefully be used to establish profitable trading strategies for this stock going forward. So as things currently stand, we are starting to see a bit of a recovery in the stock. We're still trading below this $20 mark. And I do want to be paying most attention at this point to the shorter term timeframes. That might seem a bit counterintuitive given the fact that we have seen some substantial declines recently. We're looking at some historic price moves, really. And so it might seem a bit maybe strange that we would be drilling into these shorter term timeframes here. But the reason that I would do that, the reason I would prefer to focus on here's the 15-minute price chart, is because this is the type of time frame that gives us more detailed information about shorter term price movements. And this is the best way of identifying whether or not we are currently seeing a bottom that is forming in this stock. If we were to pull out to, say, the daily or the weekly chart, a lot of this information would be contained in a single candle, a single price candle. So we wouldn't be able to see as many of the support and resistance zones and as many of the individual price levels that can sort of give us signals or an indication that a bottom might be in place. So that is really the critical question at this point for this stock. Are we looking at a bottom here, or are we looking for sustained declines lower? In the comment section, I actually had somebody ask me if we were going to be seeing single digits for this stock, which is just mind-blowing that we would even be having this conversation. But it's a fair enough question, I suppose, because we're currently trading right around the $20 mark, and the single digit area is not too far away at this point. Personally, I do not think that we get that far. I think that would be an extreme reading. I think that we would be looking at the very least, I think we would be looking at a new CEO before that were to happen. But I do also think that that would probably be a good move for this company. Anybody that's been watching my videos on this stock knows that I have been, it's my personal opinion that Pat Gelsinger should probably be doing something else. I think that the share price movement during his tenure has been embarrassing, to say the least. And I don't think that he should be in the position that he's in. So as things currently stand, we are still trading below this $20 mark. Recent lows came in right around the 1850 level. This area sort of marks a triple bottom support zone at the moment. So this will be a very critical level to watch here going forward. If we were to see a break below there, then I do think it's much more reasonable to suggest that this stock would be probably caught sort of in the teens for quite a while, possibly below sub 20 for quite a while. If we were to see another break below this 1850 level, I mean, at some point, this stock does need to find a bottom. So, the question is just where is this most likely to occur? So, as things currently stand, we are starting to see an upward trend here in the share price action itself and also in the indicator reading. So here we'll just take a quick look at the 15-minute RSI, the 15-minute relative strength index reading, because here we can see that share prices have been able to generate enough positive momentum to signal a bullish trend in the RSI. This has now been tested on several occasions, so there is plenty of scope here for upward price movement because the reading itself is really trading near the middle of the histogram. The histogram would be this area here, and the current RSI reading comes in right around 52.2. So that's roughly the middle of the histogram. So there is plenty of room to extend in both directions. And in my view, there is more room to the top side than there is room to the downside at the moment. So overall, we also have this positive trend reading here, which would suggest that the overall bias here would have to remain focused in the positive direction. We will look at some price levels, though, to see what would actually invalidate that view. So, first, what I would be looking at if we were to see continued moves to the downside here, I would be looking at 1920. This would be the price low that was generated during the September 12 trading session. And then if we were to break below that area, We would also be losing all of the support that would be expected to be generated by the exponential moving average cluster. So that would be these 4 moving averages here. So if we were to break below this area, then that would suggest that we would probably then be in store for a retest of the 1850 support zone. That would be a bit of an ominous event. But currently, the way things stand, we are still continuing to post higher highs and higher lows here. And then you do have the positive reading in the relative strength index, which does sort of shift the balance of the evidence into the positive direction. So, even with all of that, we do have to remain, aware of the fact that the majority of the momentum here is still focused on the downside. So it's almost like, you're pushing a boulder up a hill or something like that. There's a lot of work to be done here in order to sort of regenerate some positive share price momentum for this stock. But one factor that has to be watched here, is this major price gap that did develop here. We really did see a sharp price gap that came in right around the 29 level and then extends all the way to roughly 22.30. So there is a very significant gap here in share prices. I mean, this is not a normal size price gap. And overall, it does come down to whether or not we believe that the most recent earnings report was as negative as it seemed. I mean, I do think that there were aspects of that report that were overblown. For example, layoffs tend to be a very big indicator for a company, a major red flag, a major warning signal. If a company's laying off workers, that's got to suggest that there's some major problems in place. I don't really feel that was the case for Intel. I think that they had a bloated workforce. The number of people that worked for Intel were roughly the same as the number of people that were working for NVIDIA at the time, pre-layoff. So, I thought that this was a bloated workforce that needed to streamline a bit, needed to trim the fat a bit. If you've been watching my prior videos, you would know that some of that trimming the fat would also include firing the CEO, in my opinion. But I overall, I do think that this was a larger than necessary workforce. I don't see any problem with that aspect of the most recent earnings report. Typically, that would be considered to be a warning sign, a major red flag. But I think that this was actually a necessary move for Intel, and I think that it was actually overdue. So as things currently stand, we do need to maintain this support zone coming in at roughly 1930. And if we did see a break below there, I would then start to suggest that this mild upward bias could be starting to reverse. So here's the current stock market update for Intel Corporation, the stock ticker INTC. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.